So now, who am I? So this is Paul Cuffey. He was born 1752, died 1812 in New York State. He's my seventh great grandfather on my father's side. He married a woman named Hannah. They had seven children, and I said from their son William. There's an article about him in 1909. It's talking about his genealogy, his family, how he became to be an Indian preacher. And this mark is out in Wading River, and in the Shinnecock Nation territory. So this was a book written in 1845, and they're talking about his genealogy. And here's a couple quotes from it. It says, "The Reverend Paul was the second of seven sons of Peter Cuffey, a native Indian of the Shinnecock tribe. His mother was said to be an eminent, pious woman, for many years a member of the native Indian church at Wading River, she being of African descent." So he was mixed. He was Shinnecock and African. And these are some of the my DNA matches I was able to find and trace their genealogy back to me using uh, Paul Cuffey's son William Cuffey, my fifth great grandfather. Um, and I was able to trace about six people. This is my fourth great grandfather on my father's side, Levi Medicine Man Phillips, born 1809, 1911, born in the state of Connecticut. Dr. Levi Phillips Sr., widely respected as an herbal doctor, Dr. Phillips regularly walked from Brooklyn to Montauk, even as an old man, and became a local legend. Shown here about 1870, he is believed to be a direct descendant of King Phillips, chief of the Wampanoag Indians, between 1675 and 1676. King Phillips led a coalition of local tribes against the English in an attempt to drive them out of England. This war was a pertinent important of future conflicts in the Western United States. And this comes from the Image of America, the Setauket, Oldfield, and Poquat, page 114. This is an article from the Brooklyn Daily Eagle in October 9th, 1909, page 19. This is about my great grandfather. Levi Medicine Man Phil's first wife's name was Maria Roscoe. They had nine children, I descend from their son Levi. His first wife, Maria, a woman, so these are quotes from the article. His first wife, Maria Roscoe, a woman of part Shinnecock Indian and part Negro distraction. They make a distinction between Negro and Shinnecock Indian. They are describing two different people. So here I have three references to Negro, like the etymology dictionary, a member of a black skinned race of Africa. Negroes, this is from etymology and English dictionary in 1730, inhabitants of Negrita in Africa. Then we have the Webster's Dictionary, 1828, a native or descendant of the black race of men in Africa. And this is some genealogy through my fourth great grandparents, Levi and Maria Phillips. And you see, I have over here to the right, the blue DNA symbol means I connected them to my tree using DNA and records. So these two people down here, they took DNA tests. This is actually a daughter and father, and he was able to trace our DNA back to Levi and Maria Roscoe. This is William Nelson, 1830, Lumberg, Virginia. My fourth great grandfather on my father's side. I descend from his son Richard. The oldest record I have of him is from 1866, a list of registered colored persons cohabiting together as husband and wife, 1866, February 27, Prince Edward County. And I put this to the side, colored people, black people, Africans, or the descendants, mixed or unmixed. And that comes from the 1828 Webster's Dictionary. So according to the records, he was owned by a man named Henry Stokes. So if we look here, we register the colored persons of Prince Edward County, state of Virginia. Up here you see name, age, place, birth, occupation, last owner. You have name, age, he was 36. So in In 1860, he would be 30, which means in 1830 he was born around 1830. Lumberg, Virginia, Prince Edward County, farmer Henry Stokes, his last owner. So this is the 1860 slave schedule from Prince Edward County, Virginia. Henry Stokes had 53 enslaved black people as property at this time. In 1860, William Nelson would be about 30 years old. According to the census, Stokes owns three males at the age 30 at this time. And we can see the three males listed here, age 30. Henry Stokes received a presidential pardon from Andrew Jackson for taking part in the late rebellion against the government of the United States. The pardon is voided if Henry Stokes shall hereafter at any time acquire any property, whatever enslaves or make use of slave labor. So those are two things are quotes from the actual document. Now, remember I said Henry Stokes owned my fourth great grandfather William Nelson. Well, he didn't take it just laying down. William Nelson was a Civil War vet. So William Nelson, U.S. Civil War pension index card filed September 30th, 1890. So he fought in the 25th U.S. Infantry Regiment. It was one of the racially segregated units of the United States Army known as the Buffalo Soldiers. Also, the 39th U.S. Colored Infantry, a regiment that served in the Union Army during the American Civil War. And lastly, the 56th U.S. Colored Infantry that served in the Union Army. And we see William Nelson, his wife, children, and these is his service record. We got the 25th, 39th, and 56th regiments, all colored troops. Yeah, so no, we didn't just take it lightly. We freed ourselves. And these are living descendants of William Nelson found with DNA. And these are my cousins that I found. I did not know them until I took this DNA test. And yeah, doing the genealogy records is good, but it's not going to take you to the present because we have a lot of laws that stop us from seeing things, and we don't get to see records that are 50. We don't even get to see records that are 50 years old, really, like when it pertains to censuses. You can only see them 75 years ago. Like right now, we're up to the 1950 census. Um, but yeah, these are my living relatives. So William Bunn, 1906 to 1978, born in the state of New York. This is my second cousin, three times removed. We both descend from a man named Peter Bunn. Peter is my fourth great grandfather, but to William, it is his great grandfather. William was interviewed by the Brooklyn Daily Eagle in 1934. And this is the article right here. This is the Brooklyn Daily Eagle, May 1934, page 15. Key points, and he gives some oral history in this article. So some of the oldest families, so these are some of the key points I took from this article. Some of the oldest families in Brooklyn and on Long Island are Negroes. Money folk of Long Island made their living sending ships to ostensibly for the purpose of whaling. Actually, the vessels went over to Africa and picked up cargoes of Negroes. There was an unwritten law that if any Negro on a trip over gave birth to a child to children, the young ones could not be sold, but were taken back to Long Island. There were in time quite a few of these babies who grew up working about the homes of the ship captains. Mr. Bunn said, I think this story is true. I do know that my grandfather used to talk a lot about it. And here we see William Bunn. He's from East Setauket. Now, my Nigerian cousin, right? So we can see this is me cover my face. This is my cousin. We share 9 centimorgans across one segment. He's 96% Nigerian and 4% East Nigerian, East Central. So he's 100% Nigerian, basically. So parts of the conversation with my Nigerian cousin, he says he has more matches to people in the Americas. So this is me reaching out to him. I asked him where he's from. He said, I'm from the eastern part of Nigeria and an Igbo by tribe. So nice to meet him. Does he have any other cousins? He says, yes, I have 148 matches here. And I asked him about the Americas. I was wondering if you have matched to other people in America. You see, yes, I have 149 matches here. This is my cousin, like I said, Ajiro. That's a Nigerian surname, 9 centimeters across one segment. So that all that means is that our we probably share the same common ancestor from somebody in the 1700s, because it's that many generations ago that's why our DNA share is so small. So 23andMe connected me to my Igbo tribe. This means some of your ancestors may have lived in it. So this is a quote. This is from this right here. So this means some of your ancestors may have lived in this area, and you may have relatives who still live there. Well, if we go back to my cousin here, they said I might find people from that area who's Igbo. And guess what? They was right. And a lot of people ask about the scientific details, and here they go right here on the Igbo connection. Highly likely match. And again, I have a cousin who is Igbo that I found through DNA. So, to the American Aboriginal community, where is the Aboriginal Americans in history? All we see is Africans and their descendants who became the Black Americans slash African Americans. So, if you like the information and would like to hear more, you can follow me at Not a Coincidence on YouTube and not underscore a underscore coincidence underscore 808 on Instagram.
Break the lane, I'm trying to make a name, but my sick thoughts got me by my brain.